Today on XPlay. Steroid cases, silicone cases, and legitimate businessmen.
No stupid
Pray for guidance.
Okay, we'll do it.
It's game time.
Prepare to be reviewed.
Adam Sessler. Morgan Webb.
Prepare to be reviewed.
Prepare to be reviewed. This is XPlay.
Hello, I'm Mr. Rourke, your host, and this is Fantasy Island.
It's not actually Fantasy Island, but we do hope that by the end of the show, you'll gain a slightly creepy insight into your own psyche.
I think I'm sexually attracted to Joy Behar.
Adam has jumped out to an early lead in the creepy insight race. Me, I'm just gonna review games and hope I never actually admit to myself that my dog Snowball never loved me.
They're games
She
like...
never loved me.
Games like Left Behind, which prepares us for eventual death and God's apocalyptic wrath through the art of real-time strategy. And The Sopranos, based on the cavalcade of swear words on the home box office network. And later in the show, Dead or Alive Xtreme 2 reminds us what secondary sexual characteristics are all about.
But we begin with a different type of body dysmorphia, the sweaty, undereducated world of professional wrestling. It's beautiful, really, a pageant of human drama and the achievements of illegal pharmaceutical chemistry, and it's all ours. Here's WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2007.
Are you ready? Ready for some high-flying, slobber-knocking, flamboyantly intense man-on-man action?
Hey, listen to that chance, Sam.
Aw, geez, what are we getting into? Finally, wrestling-starved 360 owners can layeth the SmackDown in WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2007.
Anything can happen here in the WWE.
This time, THQ brings its next-gen wrestling rendition with Flash and Flair. Ric Flair! But unlike this member of the greatest generation, the game still has functioning hips.
And he's not feeling too threatening right about now. Well, this is...
So, what's new? Aside from the flashy next-gen graphical improvements, the control scheme and gameplay have been completely revamped. The grappling moves are now initiated by various motions of the right analog stick.
That's a human being in there, and he's in bad shape now.
2007 also slams us with a change in the ebb and flow of matches. Every move has to be planned, and with the addition of a stamina meter, the wrestlers are compelled to pace themselves. Aw, what's wrong, Hulkster? A little worn out? You should really stop wrestling and go back to whoring out your daughter.
There are limits to the amount of punishment that a human body can absorb.
Just like Brooke Hogan uses her hotspots, the game offers hotspots that allow players to use the surrounding environment as weapons. Throw your opponent into speakers. Toss your opponent into the rowdy, drunken crowd. Or use the ring as a weapon. How? Either that's some testicular fortitude or wrestlers might just have some missing parts.
That's some very delicate equipment down there.
If you feel like adding parts to a character, there's always the annually flawed Create a Wrestler, still with severely limited options. These characters look neither like Adam or I.
From Los Angeles, California, Adam.
If you really like your Create a Character, they can be used in story mode. In story mode, a character can gain experience and attributes can be upgraded. But as good as that sounds, the story itself is very linear.
Why do you say things like that?
Despite a few flaws like collision detection and disjointed commentary,
Oh my gosh! Did you hear that chest slap, JR?
SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 has a lot to offer.
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
With a slew of matches, intuitive controls, and death-defying actions, what more can any WWE fan want?
You can't ask for a more decisive victory than that.
Here's my finishing move. It's called a 4 out of 5.
Oh, Middle America, what won't you watch?
Anything in a foreign language.
Ah, and that's why we love you, America. Because you're not particularly discriminating about anything except race and culture.
And you love Jesus. But who doesn't? He was a really nice guy, really good at turning things into wine, and he had loads of fun stories about how faith is like a mustard seed.
But America loves a particular kind of Jesus. A rock and roll hating, gun-toting Mary Cheney criticizing Jesus who takes no prisoners. Like if Steven Seagal were the son of God instead of being the Dalai Lama's boyfriend.
For a complex exploration of evangelical theology, here's our review of Left Behind.
Tell me over and over and over again, my gaming friends, you don't believe we're on the eve of destruction? When the rapture comes, will you be ready? Will I be ready? Will any of us be ready? The apocalypse is here. You don't want to be left behind. Based on the book series, which is based on irrefutable facts from one of those testament thingies, Left Behind Eternal Forces is not only a game, it's a recruitment drive. A recruitment drive for the believers. And I don't mean that Martin Sheen movie from '87. I mean real believers. Your mission, nay, your divine right in this prophecy is to save as many souls as possible. They may not even know they need saving, but really, who does? Just walk up to any person, rudely intrude on their lives, and show them the way.
Sounds good.
Once you have them in your thralls, they can work for you by building.
Build a bank first to acquire more money.
Crosswalking. Rocking.
Let's rock the house.
Rolling.
Let's sing to the Lord.
Praying.
Praise the Lord.
Rioting.
Okay, we'll do it.
That sort of thing. If you're a Left Behind zealot, and we mean that in a good way, then there's nothing more riveting, more rewarding, more Jesus-esque than accosting some undeserving devil worshiper and showing him the light.
I will go.
The wonderful, glorious light. And if they do see the way, nifty sweater vest for all. The sweater vest, the big man's favorite clothing accessory. If they don't see the way, then hell awaits, my friends. Hell awaits. The game takes place in the somewhat abandoned streets of New York City, a city awash in sin and depravity, and Jews.
I have other plans on Sunday.
Gee, thanks, Left Behind. Hasn't this city suffered enough? Someday a real rain will come and wash all this scum off the streets. But until then, we'll just have to settle for Left Behind. Speaking of sin, is that the Laugh Factory? You can talk, you can talk, you can talk. You're brave now, fellow flockers. Throw his ass out. He's a heathen. He's a heathen. He's a heathen. I wonder if this guy was left behind. Which leads us here at XPlay to wonder, which of us will be left behind? Take out the religious aspect here, and this just isn't a good RTS. The camera work is terrible. It's hard to know what's going on. Everybody looks alike, and quite simply, walking up to people and asking them to change their lives just doesn't make for a compelling game.
I'll do my best.
I guess we're all gonna be left behind for that one. 2 heathens out of 5. God help us all.
I said it before, and I'll say it again. You gotta pray just to make it today.
Now, while I believe that the end of the world is near, I'm pretty sure it's not going to involve a rapture or tribulation.
You know, I think it's just a matter of time before those guys from V find us and start farming humans for meat.
I believe in Ragnarok, the Norse legend that the gods will eventually set the planet on fire and kill us all. Probably by leaving on a space heater while they're sleeping.
Adam is born again botanic.
I like blind men.
In a moment, gross ethnic stereotypes, and later, gross gender stereotypes on XPlay. What do they got? A lot of sun. We got the hot crustacean fun and Morgan Webb.
Welcome back to XPlay. Now, over the past decade, HBO has dominated the field of television drama and made-for-TV movies. And they made that Lisa Kudrow comedy that was somewhere in between irksome and embarrassing to watch. But the point is, they do good drama. Finally, they decided to enter the field of gaming. I was hoping it was an RPG adaptation of their Angels in America miniseries where I could play as a closeted gay Mormon in 1985's Manhattan. But unfortunately, all HBO gave me was this, the Sopranos game.
Hey, you f***ed up your f***.
Whoa, that kind of language might fly on HBO, but here at G4, we have strict broadcast standards.
Watch the language.
The Sopranos' road to respect is an unfortunate catch-22.
It's a stupid game aimed at smart fans. Anyone who might be interested in this is hopefully too intelligent to buy a cheap cash-in.
I never turn down money.
Don't expect to see any therapy sessions with Melfi. In fact, the game doesn't feature any of the subtlety that made the show great in the first place. All we're left with is a generic beat-em-up and lots of vulgarity.
You stupid.
You take control of Joey LaRocca, also known as the illegitimate son of whack mobster Big Pussy.
Everybody's newest wise guy of the week.
When Tony sees you committing petty crimes, he puts you on the payroll as a glorified errand boy.
Go home. Quit acting like a delinquent and maybe we can find something for you to do.
That's right. You're picking up sandwiches for the man who killed your dad. That's awkward. You'll spend your nights committing crimes to impress the general himself.
I just do what I'm told.
Like hiding corpses, beating up homeless people, and killing ravers. Unfortunately, the fighting system feels loose and rickety. A lot of times your attacks take a second to register, and the outcome feels arbitrary. You also need to keep track of something called a respect meter. Basically, it reflects how smoothly you're doing your job, but it lacks some common sense. You lose respect for shooting your enemy, but beating them to death in a crowded casino is apparently fine. But not even this creates much challenge. You can pay off the mob captains to earn back any respect that you lost.
Anytime you're ready to express your gratitude, the envelope's always waiting.
You might expect some extras to make up for this, and you'd be disappointed. All you get is lots and lots of digital TNA.
Wanna watch?
There's something very, very unappealing about watching poorly rendered virtual strippers gyrate robotically. This is what a Chuck E. Cheese would look like if it were run by Larry Flint. In fact, almost all the cast members look like creepy, dead-eyed mannequins. Is that supposed to be AJ?
Right now, I really gotta take a dump.
And is that Vito?
Just meat and a pickle.
Oh, we miss you, Johnny Cakes. Road to Respect is a remarkably inaccurate subtitle. They should probably have called it The Road to the $5 Rack at EB Games. Remember that episode in the fourth season where all the mobsters went to City Hall and beat up Columbus Day protesters? Yeah, this game is worse than that.
Fine. You finished?
The Sopranos' Road to Respect gets a 2.
Oh, watch your mouth.
Out of 5.
Oh, licensed games, why are you never, ever good?
Because it's not true to the source material.
Yeah, the game could have used more domestic strife and, antidepressants.
Yeah.
So long.
Up next, Bionicle Heroes, and later, boobs on XPlay.
If you've got 60 seconds, I've got the truth. This is a Morgan Minute. I love how resilient the movie industry is. They make a movie out of a beloved game franchise, Silent Hill, and of course, it's really bad and totally panned, but those wacky movie guys, they don't care. They just announced Silent Hill 2. Oh, but this time, it's different, they say. There's a different writer. Yeah, I still don't care. I don't care about the upcoming movie adaptations of Postal or Metal Gear or Castlevania or Cameo. Yeah, I said Cameo. And I liked those games. Okay, I liked some of them. But the point is that if there were hope that the movies would be good instead of unmotivated action spliced with inane dialogue and a sex scene that comes out of left field, I'd be excited about it. But we all know that's exactly what those movies are going to be. I wish they would just leave our games alone. Ah, dreams. I'm Morgan, and that was a minute.
We got no troubles. Life is the bubbles for Adam Sessler.
Welcome back to XPlay. Back when I was 16, my dad and I got in a fight. I forget what it was about. My curfew, using the car, letting Rebecca De Mornay run a prostitution ring out of our suburban Chicago home. What matters is that we ended up getting in a bit of a physical tussle in that very dad versus teenage son way, and he cut off my hand with a lightsaber. I had to get it replaced, and it was then that I learned to truly value bionic implants. I've never really trusted fully bionic beings, but I'll give them a chance for our next game, Bionicle Heroes.
The advent of the LEGO Star Wars series left fans clamoring for the next title. What will it be? When can we expect it? Well, the wait is over. Video LEGO fans, your prayers have not been answered. Instead, LEGO's popular Bionicle toy line makes its 360 debut in Bionicle Heroes. This mechanical mystery tour of toy marketing takes us to the Bionicle island of Voya Nui, which has been overrun by the evil forces of the Piraka. It's up to you and the power of the Bionicle masks to defeat them. As is par for the course in the LEGO universe, everything is LEGO and LEGOs are everything. Much like its Star Wars predecessor, you'll need to collect LEGOs along your journey to buy various weapon and armor upgrades, as well as hidden unlockables and helpful hints like this one. Thanks a lot. You're gonna need those weapons upgrades to take on the nearly continuous onslaught of crates and boxes you're gonna come across. Oh yeah, there are some enemies too. Enemies that pose very little threat to you, as it's nearly impossible to die in this game. When critically wounded, you'll simply lose one of the Bionicle masks you've collected along the way. But considering that there are replacement masks like every 3 feet, or whatever unit of measure they use in the LEGO universe, you're pretty much immortal. It's pretty common for us to rip on the voice acting in certain games, but we can't here, because there isn't any. Aside from the opening video, the characters generally communicate through grunts and bellows. The thing that's gonna knock down the LEGO castle of most gamers is the awkward offset character perspective. Most of the time, you're in your own way, and the fact that your green targeting laser decides what you can shoot by automatically locking onto it doesn't help matters. Laser, target that crate. Mission accomplished. Although some of the Bionicle's environments are visually interesting, you'll probably want to forcibly remove your own magic mask after about 3 levels. Thankfully, much like Tricks, Bionicle is for kids, and the monotonous shooting in this game is perfect for their tiny, tiny brains. Bionicle Heroes gets a 2 out of 5.
I'm glad they finally found a way of making Legos violent.
Yeah, I've never trusted the peaceful constructed toys of Europe. They seem like the first step to selling our young people on socialism.
American toys teach only 3 lessons: violence, consumerism, and phonics, and I am a fan of all 3. I've never trusted communists or whole world reading curriculum.
Moments away. Women's beverage making capacity comes to XPlay.
Why not take a little walk?
When the sardine begin to begin, it's music to Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
Welcome back to XPlay. I'm gonna let Adam introduce this next game.
Boobs, tatas, jugs, decolletage, chesticles, knockers, headlights, fun bags, sweater puppies.
This is extremely mature.
Bongos, the S up front. What else is there?
He's trying to introduce DOA Xtreme 2.
I forgot blouse mice.
Yes. Let's just watch the review.
There's gotta be more.
Parents, send your children to their rooms. Dead or Alive Xtreme 2 has arrived for your Xbox 360.
It's just a stupid game.
After the events of the first installment, fighting champ Zack returns to resurrect the tropical resort that sank at the end of the first game. With Paradise restored, you can pick from a handful of lovely ladies and party the days away. But forget the plot. This title is about one thing: gameplay. And by gameplay, I mean boobs. It takes breast physics to a frightening new level. In the universe of Dead or Alive Xtreme 2, mammaries are perpetual motion machines that never truly come to a stop. And the fact that each breast moves independently makes the effect all the more surreal. They look like sentient parasites trying desperately to escape the host body they're attached to. Kind of hypnotizing.
Want to try some beach volleyball next?
Oh, right! There's a game I should be reviewing. The biggest improvement is the way the game controls. The first was way too easy, but this installment forces you to actually hustle to get underneath the ball you need to hit.
What's wrong with me?
This adds a layer of much-needed challenge to the core of Xtreme 2.
That's how to do it.
However, the AI-controlled players could use common sense implants.
Too simple.
All too often, your partner will fail to seal the deal, and the competition can be laughably lazy. Hello, guys. You're supposed to hit the ball back to us. Of course, it's not all about lounging around. Dead or Alive Xtreme 2 has added a gaggle of goofy minigames to round out the experience. There's the pool hopping game, the sprinting game, and of course, the butt-bumping game. Unfortunately, they're all completely forgettable, and in the case of the last one, intensely frustrating.
That was fun.
No, it wasn't. The outfits have also been diversified and skankified. Bikinis range from small to skimpy to almost non-existent.
Why not take a little walk?
Because you're basically naked. That's why not. If XPlay has to pixelate your bathing suit so we can show it on the air, chances are it's not providing you much coverage. Of course, that won't dissuade some people from buying this game.
Perhaps we could partner up.
In fact, a lot of folks will be very happy with this next-gen upgrade to the series. Ooh la la. They're called sexual deviants. We're willing to overlook the general ditziness of this game, but next time they better bring a bit more innovation. Dead or Alive Xtreme 2 gets a very generous 3
I suppose I should thank you.
out of 5.
Learn your place.
As we're all out of show, we should probably drop some of that XPlay replay on you folks.
WWE SmackDown got a 4 out of 5 because I'm a sucker for a man who looks like he's been dipped in bacon grease.
Left Behind got a 2 out of 5 because it has bad controls and a worse storyline.
The Sopranos got a 2 out of 5. It's short, but it does have great voice work.
Bionicle Heroes got a 2 out of 5 because it's cute, but repetitive.
DOA Xtreme 2 got a 3 because the volleyball mechanics are better, but oscillating boobs are scary.
Speaking of boobs, scary, and or volleyball, it's time for viewer mail. Today's viewer mail comes from Charlize. She writes, Dear XPlay, I have a great relationship with my boyfriend who, like me, is a gamer. We hardly ever fight. However, we had an argument the other day about what series did more for the gaming world, Zelda or Final Fantasy. We can't seem to come to an agreement, so what are your opinions? Well, Charlize, Zelda invented a new genre of games and has arguably produced some of the greatest games of all time.
Final Fantasy brought emo and dead flower vendors to games.
So whoever said Zelda, they're right.
Yes, and whoever said Final Fantasy needs to consider to stop being a 15-year-old Japanese schoolgirl.
I mean, there's so many things about Zelda. Okay, the other one, Z-targeting in the Ocarina of Time. It changed 3D games. And, of course, fishing in the Wii version, that kind of brought them back down to earth a little bit because I can't stand it.
Yeah, you bitch about that a lot. Final Fantasy brought the hair.
Yes, it did, which doesn't make me feel very good about myself. And you know what? That's a tough love you come to expect from, well, us, XPlay.